Our second witness is Mr. Adam Hartke. He is the owner of the Cotillion and Wave in Wichita, Kansas. Mr. Hartke, fellow Kansan, welcome to our subcommittee hearing, and I look forward to your testimony.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Moran, Ranking Member Blumenthal, and distinguished members of this committee. Thank you for inviting me to testify. We are here because we urgently need your help. My wife and I are small business people. We co-own 2 live music venues in Wichita, Kansas, Wave and Cotillion. I also serve as Advocacy Committee co-chair for the National Independent Venue Association, a coalition of nearly 3,000 independent music venues and promoters in all 50 states and DC. My early aspirations came from stories of my grandparents working shows at the Cotillion in the 1960s. My grandfather helped manage the facility, and my grandmother worked the box office. After attending Kansas University, I took a job as a stagehand with IOTC Local 190. I couldn't afford a car, so I would catch rides with the union business agent who would always make sure I could get to work. In the following decade, I became operations and promotions director at the Orpheum Theater, and later as operations director at Wichita Festivals, producer of Riverfest. There, I shared a common experience with my father, who helped set up the infrastructure of the first Riverfest in 1970 in his role as a laborer with the Parks Department. In 2018, I became co-owner of the Cotillion, where my grandparents had worked 60 years ago. My mother still has memories of babysitting her 4 younger siblings on nights my grandparents worked shows. Becoming co-owner of the Cotillion was the realization of not only my dream, but it seemed to be the realization of the dreams of numerous generations of those within my family. In 2018, I realized another dream: to design and build a large outdoor venue. This idea started with a drawing I did on graph paper, and the next year Wave was built and opened with my wife Jessie and me at the helm of its operations. In 2019, business blossomed. We pushed more events through the Cotillion, and Wave quickly became a favorite destination for concert goers. Both venues drove tourism and our local economy, drawing visitors from all 50 states. By the end of 2019, we were projecting 2020 to be our best year on record. In preparation for the new year, we made large capital investments at both venues. The beginning of 2020 showed increased revenues. Then, on March 13th, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, our businesses were mandated closed. Operations ceased. We scrambled to understand the impact this would have on our industry and our community as a whole. Our employees are a family, many of whom I worked with in IOTC. We eat together, sweat together, bleed together, smile together, and cry together. They were our first concern. And we quickly created a plan to pay our core staff prices pay while shuttered. We then assessed hard cost. Gutted is the only word that truly reflects how we felt in this moment. We received PPP assistance, and the funds were used as originally stipulated, with 75% going to payroll. These funds ran out in June, and since then, most of our employees have been furloughed or laid off. The amount of PPP, 2.5 times payroll, wasn't sufficient for an industry with 100% of its core bills, 95% plus revenue loss, and will be fully shuttered for 18 months. With PPP, we were able to pay about 8 weeks of payroll and about half a month of core bills. We also received idle loans. Once again, the amount of these loans were insufficient, and within 3 months, the funds were depleted. This is now a debt we have to pay off for the next 30 years. Many of us have personal guarantees on our businesses. Without help, we could lose our homes. Our children will not be provided for, and everything we've worked for will vanish. The survey of NIVA members shows that 90% of mom and pop venues will go under without assistance. These are the same venues that a 2019 study showed generate $12 of economic activity for every dollar spent on a concert ticket at a small venue. Unlike many industries, we rely on a national reopening before we can resume operations, as artists have to tour across the country. In other words, we have no inventory until artists begin to tour again. These are the same artists that recently sent Congress a letter on NIVA's behalf with over 600 artist signatures supporting our request for help. To date, we have had more than 2.1 million emails sent to Congress from our fans pleading to save our stages. We're asking Congress to pass the Save Our Stages Act and an extension of PUA and FPUC as part of the next COVID relief bill this week. This is what will save us. Time is of the essence. After 9 months, venues are going under at a quickening pace. We desperately need help now. On December 7th of 2020, the Cotillion celebrated its 60th year of continued operation while our historic venue sat shuttered. Our biggest fear is that we will have to close our doors forever, and the institutions for which we have sacrificed so much will be destroyed. We are sitting before you, pleading with Congress to help those like us. Please don't let the music die. Please save our stages so our small family business can survive. And maybe someday my 7-year-old son, Henry, will take over and the music will be passed on for generations to come. We thank Senator Cornyn, Senator Klobuchar, Senator Moran, Senator Blumenthal, and other committee members for their support in the Save Our Stages Act and our industry as a whole. Thank you.
Mr. Hartke, thank you for your compelling testimony, and I too hope your son is capable of carrying on the family business.